Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on the internet to speak with our PARC Playwrights of the 2025 Retreat cohort. My name is Micah Branch. I am one of the retreat interns here for whatever our participants need. And I am joined today by Judith Cockman. Judith, how are you doing?
Oh, I am great. Thank you, Micah. Thank you for asking.
So to start off, we would love to know, how has your time in Sackville been so far?
Well, I'm coming from an existence of almost pure isolation. So I,
Wow.
I was like super anxious the first night, like just ridiculously so, kind of that, oh, I'm off to camp and mommy, I want to come home. So every day it's gotten easier. And it's I knew how much I needed to be here. I literally cried when I got the acceptance letter. I knew how much I needed this. And I wouldn't be writing this play if I hadn't. I wouldn't. And I feel so, what's the word, what's the use of experiencing your life the way you do if you can't measure it in some way by contributing to the human conversation about it, and so what I'm writing about is giving me the opportunity to share, hopefully to compel audiences, um, visceral reaction to a certain type of human experience that I think can be easy to just let flow over us. And with this particular piece, I'm trying to um, make it like in your face, like feel it
Huh,
visually.
yeah.
So, and I wouldn't be doing it if it weren't for this retreat. And it's a gorgeous setting, and the people are lovely. And your staff, you guys are remarkable. You make it feel like, oh, I'm doing you a favor by being here. Wow, you're welcome. Seriously, thank you,
Oh,
Micah.
I appreciate that. You absolutely are as well. It's such a privilege here to be around playwrights in
Yeah.
all levels of their writing journeys. We have
Yes.
folks who have written like their and doesn't play with like cross national, cross Canada, and then folks who are writing a play for the very first time. Um, and
Amazing.
seeing which experience are the same across those, I find are very, very powerful.
Mm,
Um, and like what aspects of being a playwright, things like anxiety or insecurities.
yeah.
Um, for someone like myself who's more on the beginning end of my journey, that's really actually inspiring to see folks who still struggle with the same things that I do.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess as we're talking about your script, would you tell us both the title of it, a little bit, a summary if you would like, and also, yeah, why it felt important for you to tell this story?
I wrote a play called Okay, God, Get Off the Pot, which I produced for the Toronto Fringe Festival in 1994. And it remains the top two of my favorite things I've ever written. And it was quite explosive. It has a lot of, body parts play a big role in it. Very sort of mythological dream play type of thing, challenging religion, the Catholic religion in particular, and the hierarchy of the male assuming the power position of God, and the female being traumatized by the abuse of that usurped position. So it's not just a man who could be a priest or a cardinal, or a man in a position of of taking care of people. It is a man who is abusing that power, and he abuses it mightily, as is the case so much everywhere in the world. And it generated an awful lot of debate, really, afterwards in the bars. So here I am 30 years later, and when I wanted to apply to this, um, it occurred to me that I would, because in those 30 years I came to a very astute understanding of what that play meant, because a lot of it was my unconscious working at the time, which hence it was a dream play. But over the course of that time, I came to an understanding of what incredible damage, like how was done in my little soul, and it continued to do, and continued and continued and continued, which happens until we can name the wound. The wounds just get worse and worse and worse, right, until you can get to the core of it. So in this part two, so I thought I'll write a part two, because now I'm looking at this narcissistic abuse on the world stage. And so I thought, oh, okay, I'd like to do that. I'd like to do what it looks like now. So it's different, but very similar. And that's how that is.
Yeah. Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you for sharing that. I agree. I think that's a very, very important topic that you might feel viscerally on the stage. I think it's the perfect medium for that. Um,
Yeah.
and I guess as we expand our look outwards, I would love to know what or who inspires you as a writer. Where do you draw your inspiration from?
I would say I most relate with this type of my work, because it's not all like this. A lot of it is the more traditional form of, as I read last night from Heavens. That's a more traditional form of theater. But with these pieces, very much inspired by the Robert Lepage work, especially his early work. I would watch his work and I think that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And he was doing it magnificently and brilliantly. And then he kind of disappeared, and he's back at Stratford this year. I hope I can go see it. He's doing Macbeth as a motorcycle gang. So he just ravages a stage, and I love that. And Peter Brook, that type of work. In terms of a writer, there's two people who have always been my icons: Tom Waits and Patti Smith.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing the idea of the Scottish play. Forgive me, I'm superstitious. Not that I'm in a theater, but as a motorcycle gang, my gosh, I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's
It's a
so
must
funny.
see.
I absolutely. And I'm so curious as well. This is maybe for my own selfish curiosity. I had the chance to like pick your brain. I would love to know, how do you write? Your writing process. Is there anything about that you would like to highlight, or how that might have changed as we spend time here in beautiful Tantramar?
Um, as I was going through those many years, those decades, I would share that the most critical work I did was when I would wake up in the night in terrified agony, and instead of trying to get back to sleep and trying to manage it, I would force myself to turn on the light and pick up a pen and get it on the page. And I will say, in hindsight, I don't. I mean, all that, so much of that work is lost, I think. But it's some of the most powerful work I've ever done. So any of our extreme emotions, I think it's so worthwhile to, like Laura was saying, she wrote till 2:30 last night because it had been activated, and it would have been very easy just to go, oh well, I'll get to that tomorrow. So easy. But the discipline and the attention to doing it in that moment is is brilliant. It will just give you just treasures. Here
That's so
here
beautiful.
now, we're writing again. I mean, this is the first time in my life that working on this piece, once I was invited in, that I've had an opportunity to write in a place of peace. um, and it was very, disarming. And I wasn't sure, do I know how to do this? I mean, and I just kept staying with it and thinking, well, this is every person's dream, Jude. You want to figure this out. So I just was following the intuitive, like every day I would say, look, 2 hours, that's all you have to do. You don't have to write all day. You just do the 2 hours and you can write that. And I would try to be at my computer by 10 in the morning. And um, and I would work on a particular scene. But if I completed something within an hour and a half, I'd think, well, I could keep going and try the next scene, but I'm not going to because that feels complete.
Mhm.
But it would have risen enough concepts or ideas or questions. So then I'd go on my walk in the woods and like magic, oh, it would bubble up this vision, and oh, that would bubble up, and I'd have my phone and speak it into the memo,
Mhm.
and that's another thing I think, oh, I'll remember, no, especially if I'd had a puff. You won't remember. You have to. I was so grateful how many times I got that memo into my phone.
That's so lovely. I love that, like incorporating modern tech to into our writing processes without it taking over.
Yes,
I
yes.
love that. Ah, that's so lovely. Thank you so much for joining me, Judith. Is there anything else you feel like you want
Yes,
to
I want to
say?
say because Lara gave me a mind blasting dramaturgy session a couple of days ago. And I've never had the opportunity to work like that with somebody in all my years and all the work. And she's her intelligence is razor sharp, her memory, her ability to grasp concept and expand concept and to deliver back to me guidance that was so wholesome and beneficial and collaborative. And she gave me such a fantastic framework to move forward on. So, ah, that's to her and to PARC and to Santiago for setting this whole thing up. Mammoth.
Ah, that is felt and appreciated. Um, we are so grateful to get to do this for you folks. It is very reciprocal in that I learn from you and you have the opportunity, hopefully, to learn from your cohort and us as well. And so I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us, Judah.
Well, it's been a pleasure. You made it easy. Thank you, Micah
Uh,
and Laura. And have a wonderful day. May you enjoy all of the interviews.
Thank you so much, Judah.